for coming. Thanks for all of you who are online. It's great to see so many folks online for the State of the School address, which has become a bit of a tradition here at Reunion. My name is Jeff Shantz. I'm the Vice President for Advancement and Chief of Staff, and it's really great to see so many of our alums here for Reunion, and so much of our faculty and staff also, and students, real live students in the audience, which is awesome too for our Dean's first State of the School. Just a couple of housekeeping. At the end of this, we did move our reception inside. The rain is sort of not cooperating today, but it's going to be gorgeous tomorrow. So please come out for the picnic and the rugby game and all that sort of stuff. And then also, this is a lesson for those of you who haven't been in this room in a while. At the end, the dean's going to offer if there are any questions. And to ask a question, you must push the button in front of you on the microphone. If there's students around, they can show you how to do that. We have to do that because, one, we won't hear you otherwise, and especially the folks on Zoom will definitely not hear you if you don't press the button. So please do that at the end. So really, my role here is I have the great pleasure to introduce our new president and dean. Dean Carlarne joined Albany Law School in July. She comes to us from the Ohio State University, Moritz College of Law. Got that right? Go Bucks. Where she, any Michigan fans? Okay, good. She comes to us from the Moritz College of Law, and she was Associate Dean for Faculty and Intellectual Life. Dean Carlarne joined Ohio State Moritz College of Law in 2011 as a faculty member and was named the Robert J. Lynn Chair in Law in 2022. She served as the Associate Dean for Faculty and Intellectual Life for 4 years. Dean Carlarne is a leading international expert in environmental and climate change law policy. She has a deep commitment to environmental equity and social justice. She has authored several books on climate change law and policy and textbooks on international environmental law and oceans and human health and well-being, as well as dozens of scholarly articles addressing questions of environmental and climate change law, and an extensive series of book chapters, editorials, and essays exploring questions of domestic and international environmental law. She was the Harold Woods Research Fellow in Environmental Law at Wadham College, Oxford, from 2006 to 2008, and returned to Wadham and Keele Visiting Fellow in 2019. Prior to her career in higher education, she was an associate attorney in energy, land use, and environmental section in the Aiken, Gump, Strauss, Howard, and Feld law firm in Washington, D.C. Dean Carlarne has a Bachelor of Arts degree as a university scholar from Baylor University and a JD from the University of California at Berkeley. She holds a Bachelor of Civil Law, BCL, and a master's degree in environmental change and management from the University of Oxford, where she was a Marshall Scholar. We are very excited to have her here today. So please join me in welcoming our 19th President and Dean, Cinnamon Carlarne.
Hi, everyone. I told Jeff just ahead of time that I was going to change the theme of my talk today to climate change because of all the rains, but he didn't approve that. So we're going back to the state of the school. No, it's a real pleasure to be here. And I want to say a special thanks to Jeff, not only for the introduction, but to Jeff and his entire team for the amazing work and care and thought that they put into this weekend. It's just been remarkable so far, and having the chance to be part of this and get to know folks is very special. So thank you. I really want to acknowledge that work. Okay, so thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me today for my first State of the School address, hopefully the first of many. I'm meeting many of you for the first time, so I thought I'd take just a minute to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about myself in addition to what Jeff shared. So I did come to Albany Law School from the Ohio, I was never very good at that, from the Ohio State University Moritz College of Law, where I was Associate Dean for Faculty and Intellectual Life and the Robert J. Lynn Chair in Law. I joined Ohio State in 2011, which many of you will know is a challenging time for law, but I had a terrific 12 years there, serving in various college and university leadership roles and really immersing myself in teaching, scholarship, but also really externally facing law and policy work. As Jeff shared, my scholarship and kind of professional focus and expertise centers on questions of domestic and international environmental law and policy with a focus on climate change and climate justice. And while I'm originally from Waco, Texas, and attended Baylor, go Golden Bears, and then subsequently Berkeley Law, go Golden Bears again. It was an easy transition. I have also spent multiple years overseas, both as a student and a scholar. As Jeff shared, I was in Oxford for a handful of years and had a really wonderful time there. And before I began my career in higher education, I did work in, had some practice work in DC at Aiken Gump Strauss Herrenfeld, where I got to engage in lots of really interesting questions about federal environmental law and federal energy law. And now, here I am, happily ensconced in the capital region with my family, where there may be no golden bears, but apparently I have a black bear in my backyard, so Albany for the win. It's true. With that brief introduction, now let me turn to why we're here today and what I really want to talk about, which is us, Albany Law School. So before I dive in, let me encourage everyone in the room to be thinking of any questions you might have, which I would love to answer at the end of my presentation. And for all those folks online, first of all, thank you for being here. And if and when you have questions, you can put them in the chat box and we'll be sure to catch those as well. All right, let me begin with a simple point. Albany Law School is stronger than ever and poised to continue building on its strengths. I am proud and honored to be a part of this community. Let me say a little bit more about why I'm so honored and excited to be here and why we are so well positioned to continue deepening Albany Law's reputation as an institution of legal excellence and as an accessible and inclusive community. The starting points for this are clear. We have the strongest student body we've ever had, and I'm just thrilled to see students sitting here, along just about every metric. We have a world-class faculty that embrace the importance of student-centered teaching, engaged scholarship, and community service. We have a staff that epitomize excellence, dedication, and loyalty. And we have an institution, a historic independent institution that's nimble and resilient and poised to be responsive to changes in legal education in the ways that preserve our core strengths while also being responsive to changes in the legal environment and changes in technology. We have alumni, many of you here today, that are unparalleled in their dedication to this law school, who are leaders in the judiciary, the state and federal government, private practice, public service, and business. I have truly never experienced a community that is as proud, loyal, and excellent as this one. Every interaction that I've had with alumni, both when I was making the decision to come to Albany and since I've joined Albany Law School, have reinforced the unique strength and commitment of our community. So don't tell the Ohio State Buckeyes, who I still love, but what I've experienced and what I hope you've experienced, and what I hope we can continue to deepen and grow and make even more inclusive and supportive as an alumni network, an alumni community that excels in every sector that law touches, an alumni network that continues to support one another, support the school, and support our amazing students. In brief, everything I hope to find at Albany Law School, I have found, but also much more. This really is a special place. We are a special community. I am confident about who we are, and even more confident about who we will be in a changing and challenging environment. We are proudly independent in ways that allow us to be innovative, resilient, and both creative and responsive to the needs of our students, our alumni, and our larger state and national constituencies. So the bottom line is that Albany Law School is an exceptional school that is uniquely placed to continue thriving as we move forward together. We already are attracting some of the best and brightest faculty, staff, and students to our school. We are innovating in and out of the classroom. We continue to offer incredible experiential opportunities for our students, our Justice Center and our Government Law Center, our national gems. We continue to see our graduates employed at an amazing rate. And I see Dean Fitzpatrick sitting here. I want to give her a lot of credit for that. And we see unwavering support from our alumni and friends like all of you here today. All of this taken together is what ensures that Albany Law will continue to thrive for generations to come. And it's my proud mission to ensure that it does. Okay, so now let me back up what I've just said with some details. And first, let's talk about admissions. Look at this great class, some of whom are sitting right here in front of me. For the class of 2023, we received 1,361 applications and yielded a class of 191 students, 191 amazing students. That's a 3% increase in applications in a year that saw a drop in applications nationally. The median LSAT for the class is 155. That's a 4-point increase in the last 8 years. Similarly, our median GPA held strong at 3.48. We are bucking national trends, particularly for small independent law schools. And let's talk a little bit more about the depth and composition of our class. In common with the long-standing mission of Albany Law School, I am deeply committed to ensuring that everything we do as a community advances our mission of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I am proud to share that the class of 2023 is the most diverse class ever, in ways that ensure that the education process is rich and engaged, and that we are positioned to help educate and prepare the next generation of lawyers and leaders that reflect the best of who we are. So just a little bit more about the diversity of the class. 30% of our new JD class self-identify as racially or ethnically diverse. Just a few years ago, that number was below 20%. 30% of our students are first-generation college graduates, and about 20% are non-traditional. Our students are geographically diverse, hailing from all across the country and all over the world. The incoming class represented students from 19 states and territories and 16 countries, while of course still representing a strong and wonderful contingent of students from New York. They are academically diverse as well. We attracted students from 96 different colleges and 50 different majors. All right, now looking outward to our non-JD programs. As I'm sure many of you are aware, about 7 years ago, we began offering master's and LLM degrees in 5 different academic areas: cybersecurity, financial compliance and risk management, health law and healthcare compliance, human resources, law, leadership and policy, and government affairs and advocacy. The success of these programs are critical to our continuing efforts to ensure that Albany Law School not only remains a stalwart of JD education, but also that we expand our reach and reputation as a field-leading graduate school of law. And if you have questions about how these programs intersect with the overall quality and reputation of the school, I can assure you it's very positive. The faculty in these programs are leaders in their field. Many of them are our alumni too. And the programs have been attracting students who bring unique perspectives and professional experience to the school. We are quickly becoming known as a leader in graduate legal education, and we are proud of that. And sticking with the theme of Albany Law's innovator in legal education, I'm excited to share that in the fall of 2024, we will be launching an innovative flexible JD program, the Flex JD. This program, which the faculty and staff spent more than a year developing, and which the ABA approved without any questions, which is a huge feat, once again places Albany Law at the cutting edge of legal education. The flexible JD program will combine online learning with in-person dimensions to offer the Albany Law JD experience to students who otherwise might not be able to earn their JD, and especially here at Albany, because they're working, they have families, or they're geographically distant. The Flex JD will have 4 different specialty tracks: the first in government law and public service, the second in social justice and public interest, the third in business law, and the fourth in environmental, energy, and climate law. A huge amount of thought and work has gone into developing the curriculum and the strategy for the hybrid JD to ensure that it represents the Albany Law name well. That is to ensure that it offers the same high quality, engaged education that our residential JD program does. Now, as I mentioned, one of the things for which Albany Law School is renowned, and one of the things that really drew me to Albany Law School, is the longstanding national reputation for experiential learning and cutting-edge legal programs. These are areas in which we have long excelled, and we are continuing that tradition. I am pleased to be able to report that last year, Pre-Law Magazine granted Albany Law an A+ rating for practical learning. We are one of only 17 schools in the country to receive that grade. We are constantly seeking to create greater opportunities for high quality, engaged, hands-on legal education, and this ranking really does reflect those efforts. Now, returning to one of Albany Law's true crown jewels, let's talk about the Edward P. Swire Justice Center. Hopefully, you've had a chance to walk around. hopefully not in the rain, maybe tomorrow if you have to wait, but hopefully you've had a chance to walk around campus and in doing so have seen our new sign on the front of the 2000 building. We are incredibly proud to share that that sign reads, the Edward P. Swire Justice Center at Albany Law School. In the spring, we honored our longtime supporter and donor, Ed Swire, and the Swire family by renaming the Justice Center. I've had the pleasure to get to know Mr. Swire in my first few months here. He's an incredibly intelligent, generous, kind, and successful businessman whose philanthropy has changed the lives of thousands of people, many of them the clients of our Justice Center. We are very grateful to Mr. Swire for his continuing support of our Justice Center and so proud to have his name on the center and so proud of the work that's actually happening in the Justice Center. So a little bit more about that work. The center houses 5 different clinics that provide free legal service to underserved populations in our community, including low-income cancer, AIDS, and hospice patients, children and families, immigrants and refugees, and victims of domestic violence. So I just want to share a few highlights from the work of the Justice Center over this past year. The Swire Justice Center administers our pro bono program, of which we are very proud. The class of 2023, and I have to really emphasize this number, the class of 2023 with only 172 members completed more than 52,176 hours of pro bono and public service during their time at Albany Law School. I'm just going to repeat that number, 52,176 hours. This number encompasses all the time students provided legal assistance to small businesses, farmers, veterans, immigrants, tenants facing landlord issues, community members filing taxes, nonprofit organizations, schools, and many more. And if that number isn't impressive enough, which it is, I'm sure it is, don't forget these students started and spent much of their time under pandemic conditions, making public outreach that much more challenging. We are very proud of them. Not surprisingly, the work the Swire Justice Center is doing is receiving a lot of national attention, a lot of positive national attention. The Immigration Law Clinic was featured in the MSNBC films Guerrilla Habeas, the latest installment of the documentary series The Turning Point, which aired in 2023 and was executively produced by Trevor Noah. The documentary looked at U.S. immigrants threatened with deportation and the fight to keep them and their families together. The film featured the work of Professor Sarah Rogerson, director of the clinic, amazing, magnificent director of the clinic, and 6 clinic students who helped Capital City Rescue Mission Chief Kenemo Nagoran, who was taken into custody by ICE during a routine check, and he spent 6 weeks at a detention center in Western New York. Professor Rogerson, her students, and a team of lawyers, local organizations, law schools, and government officials quickly mobilized to get him released and back home with his U.S. citizen wife. And through the Justice Center, our students and faculty are also making a direct impact on housing law. Allie Dettinger, class of 2024, and Tom McCarthy, class of 2023, worked with David Crossman, class of 17, a staff attorney in the Community and Economic Development Clinic, on an amicus brief in support of the Bleecker Terrace Tenants Association and United Tenants of Albany, an organization that helps Albany residents facing eviction. Their brief was accepted by the 3rd Department, and of the 3 briefs that was filed, it was the only one that was actually referenced in the oral arguments. And our students are working with community partners to make a difference in our community in other ways as well. During April's Sexual Violence Awareness Month, Daniel Salazar, class of 23, and Chloe Ross, also class of 23, who work in the Family Violence Litigation Clinic, worked with Isha Doshi and Drishti Patel from Albany Medical College and Professor Barat, director of the Family Violence Law Clinic, to present maternal fetal complications in IPV. The presentation, which was presented, and this is very cool, as part of the Medical College's student-led community ground rounds, aims to fill the gaps in care for survivors of domestic violence, starting by educating the practitioners who help them. Finally, but far, far from all, thanks in large part to the work being done in our amazing health law clinic, Albany Law School has one of the top health law programs in the nation. Pre-Law Magazine gave Albany Law an A rating in the fall 2023 issue, one of only 15 schools to receive that rank. Now, the other key component in our experiential offerings for students is the widely heralded Government Law Center, GLC. Led by 2 exceptional alumni, our director, Judge Leslie Stein, class of 81, who, as many of you know, joined us immediately after her tenure as an associate judge on the New York Court of Appeals, and our deputy director, Professor Patrick Woods, class of 2012, who came to us from the Solicitor General's office. Together, Judge Stein and Patrick Woods have elevated the GLC to a remarkable level. The GLC serves as a bridge between government and academia and has become a critical resource for those in New York State and local governments and for the larger New York State and Capital District communities. It is also an unparalleled resource for our students who are interested in government service and public service more broadly. Now, I just want to share a few highlights from the GLC's work in the past year. So earlier this year, the GLC became a permanent part of New York Fair Trial Free Press Conference, when that group permanently added the GLC director to its leadership. The GLC has already presented 2 excellent fair trial free press programs. Most recently in April, the GLC co-hosted a conference at NYU Law on police misconduct and journalist arrest. The conference combined a discussion of a hypothetical scenario with an overview of media law. Panelists, including judges, prosecutors, journalists, and attorneys, discuss the legal, political, and ethical issues that arise after a reporter is arrested while covering a police-involved shooting. In addition, earlier each year, the GLC present the Warren M. Anderson Legislative Series, which features experts who address major legal and policy issues that are pending before the New York State government. Former New York State Governor David A. Patterson, who you see up here, highlighted the 2023 series as a panelist during the presentation, The Lieutenant Governor, Filling Vacancies and Assuring the Government Works. The panel focused on the office of the Lieutenant Governor when a vacancy occurs before the expiration of a term, the role of a Lieutenant Governor when the governor is unable to fulfill their duties, and other critical issues related to vacancies and appointments. And consistent with past practice, the GLC is having a direct impact on the work of the New York State government in many ways. One of the more recent and more exciting initiatives is the Improving Interbranch Communication Project, which bridges gap between New York's courts and the state's executive and legislative branches. When courts issue interpretations of statutory and regulatory texts, the Government Law Center leverages its expertise to inform the governor's office and the legislators about the interpretation and to explain them in concise, nonpartisan, plain text explainer-style memos, improving that interbranch communication. The project is a complement to their explainer series, which are regularly produced by the GLC, which explore legal and policy issues of current interest, including topics on aging and disability law, New York State constitutional issues, policing, and much more. Finally, the Government Law Center Fellows Program, which is fantastic, has become a more formalized and structured program that provides students with the student fellows with regularized presentations from experts in both New York and federal government practice. The increased rigor of the program has allowed it to become credit-bearing for fellows who take full advantage of what the program offers. This is in addition to the many other programs and student opportunities the GLC offers. It is truly a rich, rich set of programs. And now I get to share some really exciting news. Just last week, and due in large part, of course, to all of your support and to the amazing leadership of the Government Law Center, Albany Law was ranked #1 in the nation for government by Pre-Law magazine, an impressive and well-earned feat that will truly, truly redound to the success of the law school and the opportunities for our students. Makes me incredibly proud. Now I want to talk about our faculty, looking at a few of them. I may be biased, but I think we have one of the most impressive, well-regarded, thought-provoking, and civic-minded faculty around. I'm incredibly proud to be part of their ranks and to get to work with our new Associate Dean for Research and Intellectual Life, Ray Brescia, to support our faculty in all of their scholarly and externally facing efforts. From our amazing junior faculty, such as Professor C.G. Dodds, Nina Farnia, and Fermin Mendez, who are doing critical work on questions of social justice, equity, and economic development, to our longstanding, well-known, and regarded faculty such as gold medal winner Pat Rahan, Mike Hutter, and Pat Connors, to our emerging field-leading scholars such as Ava Ayers, Melissa Brieger, Danshira Cordes, Barbieri, Jonathan Rosenblum, and so many others. Honestly, I really could stand up here and speak about every single member of our faculty and share with you not only how brilliant they are, how impactful their scholarship is, how much they focus on achieving change in law and policy, but how student focused they are. And that's what's really important. And we keep adding wonderful faculty. In fact, this year we welcomed 5 new faculty members. Our new faculty include, and you can see them up here, Professor Dale Cheka, who joined the faculty of Albany Law as an assistant professor of law and the new director of a very important family violence litigation clinic. Prior to this appointment, Professor Cheka was an attorney in Atlanta and a clinical professor of law and founder and director of the Family Law Clinic at the University of Richmond School of Law. And next we have a returning alum, Caitlin Deborah Lewis, class of 2011. She joins Albany Law School as an assistant professor of law after almost 7 years with the Congressional Research Service at the Library of Congress in DC. Our third new hire is Professor Jennifer Martin. Professor Martin comes to Albany Law from St. Thomas University School of Law. She's a nationally renowned scholar in the area of contracts and commercial law. This fall, we also welcome Distinguished Professor of Law, Carla Spivak, who I saw come in somewhere. Professor Spivak joins Albany Law School from Oklahoma City University School of Law. She's a nationally recognized scholar who teaches and writes in the areas of wills, trust and estate, tax law, and property law. Finally, we have another alumna, Professor Kanika Johar, who I'm sure many of you know. Professor Johar joined Albany Law School in September 2020 as a visiting assistant professor, and then really we're very lucky that she joined us permanently this fall. She teaches introduction to lawyering and offers instruction to Albany Law School graduates who are preparing for the bar exam. She's also the extremely dedicated faculty director for our exceptional moot court program. Our faculty are truly an exceptional group of teachers, scholars, and leaders. Their collective excellence grounds the Albany Law experience. Now I want to talk about you, many of you, our amazing Albany Law alumni community. Over my first few months here at Albany Law School, I've had the chance to meet many alumni in and around Albany and the Capital Region, as well as begin to travel around the state to meet more of our alumni. Consistently, I've been impressed with our alumni's level of enthusiasm for the school, their level of engagement, loyalty to the alma mater, and their willingness, which really is more like keenness, excitement, to actively help our students. Our alumni network is one of the strongest components of who we are as a community. It is because of our alumni that we continue to see our job placement rate at over 90% year over year, a truly amazing number that puts us among the elite schools nationwide, but more importantly, creates endless opportunities for our students. And our alumni continue to be incredibly generous in their support of Albany Law School. Our annual fund has grown dramatically each year, and we now raise nearly $2 million in annual support, including more than $200,000 during our annual Give Day this past April, which was a new record. So thank you, and also congratulations to your team. So let me express my thanks and gratitude to every single person who contributed. Every single donation is meaningful to us and meaningful to our students. As we continue to see our friends and alumni help support our mission of ensuring that Albany Law education is accessible and affordable. For example, and this is a wonderful example, this past March, Christopher Stedman, class of 1999, gave $1 million to set up a scholarship for 5 firefighters, EMS workers, and non-traditional students. As a volunteer fireman for more than 40 years and someone who got his JD later in life, Mr. Stedman wanted to ensure that similarly situated folks could pursue their dreams like he did. And for that, we're very grateful. I know our students are as well. So as you perhaps can tell, I could spend hours enthusiastically sharing all of the ways in which Albany Law School is a center of excellence, inclusivity, and innovation, and all of the excitement that I have and that our entire community has, I know, about all of the positive and exciting things taking place in the law school today. But of course, a question that I frequently get, and I'm sure I will get lots more moving forward, is what the future of Albany Law School looks like. How we are positioning ourselves to remain a bastion of excellence in innovation and legal education. In brief and proudly, my answer is that we are a forward-looking law school that is incredibly well positioned to be among the top schools in the nation amidst challenging times. And of course, our future growth and success is very much grounded in our new strategic plan, from innovation to opportunity. If you haven't read the plan, I encourage you to do so. It's easily accessible on the website, and I think I've seen it sitting around on tables here as well. It's a very thoughtful and forward-looking plan that very much reflects Albany Law's intention to maintain its core, build on its strengths, and innovate in ways that will benefit our students and alumni alike. We're in the early phases of implementing the strategic plan, but I would love to sketch out for you just a bit about our core goals and our primary areas of work. So the strategic plan focuses on 3 pillars: impact, innovation, and inclusion. And you will find those 3 pillars woven throughout the plan and to each of the individual goals as well. Very briefly, the plan centers around 3 goals. The first, ensuring that every student graduates with a set of transformational competencies that will allow them to be well situated in their careers, focusing on innovation across the curriculum, and maintaining and deepening Albany Law School's commitment to being a student-centered, inclusive institution. Now, of course, the real challenge is taking these overarching goals and bringing them to life through discrete and meaningful actions. To that end, this year, we're focused on discrete action in 6 core areas. These include, first, strengthening the JD program, the heart of who we are. And we'll do this by infusing these transformational competencies across the curriculum and emphasizing curricular innovation, experiential education, modernized assessment practices. And this is going to include, for example, expanding our capstone courses, reinvigorating a teaching innovation workshop, integrating legal technology into existing curriculum, and developing new curriculum and programming around legal technology and the changing nature of legal work to make sure our students are absolutely prepared. Our second area of work this year will center around institutionalizing diversity, equity, and inclusion, with an emphasis on systemic change, including through continuing efforts to improve the admissions process and enrollment management for our students' benefit, commitment to improved hiring processes, expanding institutional advancement, and the focus on all of our alumni, making sure they all feel welcome back to school, and a commitment to engaged faculty and staff training. The third area of focus will be on strengthening and expanding our already field-leading graduate and professional legal education programs, with an emphasis on smart growth, maintaining the Albany Law School brand, increasing access to legal education, and of course, expanding the revenue opportunities and the financial strength of the law school. Our fourth area is one where we have a long history of success that we want to continue to build on, and that's bar success and career opportunities. Here, the focus will be on improving bar success through the continued development of our bar support programs, which I know are critical to our students. We'll also focus on expanding pipelines to practice, to maximizing career and professional placement, and we'll really focus on preparing our students for any changes to the bar that are upcoming as well. Our fifth focus area will center around advancing institutional resiliency and excellence. And this will involve us updating our systems so that they work better, more efficiently, we communicate better, continuing to grow a truly world-class workforce, and making improvements to the physical plant. The focus of that, of course, is really trying to have a building and facilities that create functional and welcoming student spaces. And I'll come back to that in a moment. Finally, but of central importance, we will be deeply focused on maintaining and improving the financial strength of the law school and the Albany Law brand and reputation. We know who we are, we're proud of who we are, and we want to share that with other people as well. Now, I know we don't have time to talk in detail about all the exciting ways we're planning to bring the goals to life, so I'll just mention one area, which is our student spaces. Should we hide those pictures? The plan calls for some physical changes to the campus, including things like investing in next generation classrooms. We'll always have to keep our technology up to date in the classrooms. But perhaps the most visible of all the initiatives, and one that I think reflects Albany Law School's student-centered mission, is creating a new student center. As I'm sure many of you remember, the heart of the 1928 building, maybe you saw it today, is now occupied by a little bit out of an outdated and a little bit uninviting cafeteria and set of locker rooms. We've done creative things to try to ensure the space is welcoming and available for our students, but more is needed. So we're in the process of reimagining the space and crafting plans for how we can convert the space into a modern, comfortable, attractive, and practical space where students can gather, study, and really just be together. The reimagined student center and commons will be a place for the entire community, but most importantly, a place where all of the students will feel invited in and comfortable, a place that better reflects who we are as a community. We are in the early design phases of what the space will look like, and it's a pretty exciting moment. Of course, to ensure that the plan is a success, we're going to need the support of our entire Albany Law community, especially our alumni. And while we are still celebrating the wonderful success of our We Rise Together campaign, as I'm sure everyone knows, there's another campaign on the way, and I'm really excited about this. We can't wait to share more about this with you in the coming months, so stay tuned. All right, let me wrap up by emphasizing 3 things. First, these are truly exciting times for Albany Law School. The law school is strong and stable and positioned to deepen our place as a center of excellence in legal innovation and legal education. Second, there are numerous opportunities for every single member of the Albany law community to be involved in the life and the future of the law school, whether it's through participating in events on campus, mentoring students, or working with students in their job searches, or helping support our efforts to create a new student space. Our community is truly, truly our greatest strength, and we want to find ways to engage all of our alumni and all of our friends and all of our students in different ways. Third and finally, on a personal note, I want to end where I began by emphasizing what a great honor and joy it is to have been named the 19th president and dean of this historic institution, and what a great honor it is to have the opportunity to speak with all of you here today. I was told that Albany Law School community was like a family, and I have found that to be true, and I'm deeply grateful for that. So just to conclude, the state of Albany Law School is strong, and our future is bright. Our past and future success is attributable in no small part to the ongoing tremendous support from our alumni and friends. Thank you, and I really, truly can't wait to get to know each one of you better over the coming months and years. And with that, thanks. Question time. I'll watch online, but if anybody in the room has questions, I'd love to answer them, or I'd love to try to answer them. Hi. If you feel comfortable sharing your name, please feel free to do so. Oh, and good for you. He's remembering to hit the button.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the message. And as a person who studied and you are associated with several universities, including back in Britain, I would like to know what your plans are in connecting Albany Law with other universities, including those that are abroad.
That's a fantastic question. And we actually had a terrific presentation by one of our faculty members earlier today who's helped set up a program with a university in Italy where we have a joint study together program where 15 of their students and 15 of our students come together for a shared legal education experience. And so that's one example of a very discrete program. But also we are doing a lot through our admissions office and through other efforts to actually connect with schools for an admissions perspective to see if there are students who would like to come study here for LLM programs. We have 2 different visiting scholars right now from overseas as well. And so there's a lot of efforts to actually develop those connections for students, for scholars, and just for visitors as well. And so I think I really appreciate the question. That kind of interinstitutional collaboration is really important to me, and it is important to Albany Law School as well. And if you have ideas, I am absolutely all ears, and we really, really mean that. Yesterday, we had a delegation that visited us from the Dominican Republic. They were all law students and representatives from law schools over there, and that was the beginning of conversations about collaboration. So we are very open to collaboration, and we also see that as part of creating more and deeper opportunities for our students. Leonard, one of our first year students right here.
Leonard is my name. So you mentioned you're interested in the environment. Do you have any thoughts or comments or questions on what's been happening recently in Lahaina and Maui?
Oh, gosh, what a challenging question. I mean, so I'm not sure which dimension to kind of speak to, but of course what you saw in Lahaina was it was a terrible tragedy related to wildfire that really ripped through the community there. There's causal questions to be thought through. Why are we having more fires and how do we go about addressing it and minimizing risks? But there's also really important questions about preparation, and that's where law really comes into effect. In fact, I've had the opportunity to teach a disaster law class in the past, and that's something that I think we need more and better of is thinking as lawyers about how to, first of all, minimize the risk to our communities of disasters that we can predict. And in the wake of disasters, figure out how we can best mobilize resources. And it's actually a quite complex question about how to mobilize resources in the wake of disaster. It's a federalism question. And so I think as lawyers, there's a lot we can do to think about both preventing disaster and responding to disasters more effectively. And also we're humans. And so just figuring out how to show compassion and how to be there in the wake of disaster is also really important. Are you guys? Yes. Hi.
Hi, my name is Jasmine. I wanted to kind of ask about the renovation project that you were looking into.
Good for you, Jasmine. Jasmine's also a first year student and she's brilliant. Go on. Let's hear it.
I was wondering, like, if that was to go through, I mean, I think it's a great idea just because like modernizing the campus could attract more students from all over the place. I know that it's like a determinative factor for like some 2Ls that I've met at other schools.
Sure.
But I was wondering, like, the 1928 building is like the main school for education where most of our classes are. I mean, all my classes are there.
Yeah.
And I was wondering how, like, would that be done during the summer and how would it affect classes? And
Okay, great. I thought you were gonna say, how fast can you do it? I was thinking about that. No, that's a great question. I think that anytime there's major renovations to a building, we try to be very conscious of the student experience. I mean, we're doing this to improve the student experience, and so we certainly don't want to impair it through noise and air pollution and things like that. And so most of the time when we're trying to do any kind of major improvements, we do try to do it in the summer months. Of course, sometimes the projects go on, and then we have to think creatively about how to achieve our goals in the way that is to the greatest benefit to the students at the least cost. And I don't know how fast, but we're working on it to answer the unasked question. And of course, in the meantime, we're also just trying to maximize the space in the best way possible. Yes.
Hi, my name is Allison. I just was thinking, as most of us have midterms coming up, do you have any last minute advice for that?
That's a great question. I would say, take a breath, know yourself, and be confident in how you're preparing. So sometimes, especially in your first year, are you a first year student? Yes. Okay. In your first year, it's easy to kind of get lost in the experience, to look around and see what everybody else is doing and to have that worry you. So instead of doing that, stay engaged in your learning, really think about what you know, what you need to learn, and the best way for you to do that. And then don't cram and stay up the night before. Get some sleep. Yeah. And just be confident when you go in. And I think most importantly, know that this law school is committed to student success. And so this isn't an effort to show you what you don't know. This is an effort to give you experience, help you think through the material, and help you grow. Really, really. And then go talk to your professors afterwards. Sorry, an add-on. Always use your professor's office hours. That's so important. Yeah. Yes.
Hi, I'm Narayan. I'm a 3L. I was just curious. You mentioned renovations and
I sense a theme here, Jeff.
no, it's not about that.
Okay.
I was just curious if there was also going to be some kind of reform concerning academics, such as like maybe taking the focus off of like just taking in a bunch of information and spitting it out on a page, and maybe try to take the focus more in a clinical approach, like trying getting more hands-on experience for the students.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm looking at Dean's Queen in Toronto over here, our Deans for Academic Affairs and Student Affairs, because I think this is very much the mission, what we want to do. I mean, the strategic plan is focused around creating innovative curriculum that really is focused on, we have already an amazing set of experiential opportunities here. It's deep and it's rich, but if what you're asking is, can we do better? Absolutely. And that's what we're thinking about with curricular innovation and transformational competencies, looking at our curriculum, looking at every class, thinking about how we can improve them to make sure that they're, allowing you to have access to the information you need, but also the opportunity to practice with it, to have engaged learning. And so that is definitely a key part of our thinking right now. And I'm excited to hear that it's what you want.
This might be a little bold, but do you know if they're getting rid of grades?
No. Bridge too far. Next strategic plan. But I hear you. I mean, there's a lot of thinking in legal education about assessment and the best way to do assessment. And there's a lot of thinking about things like standardized tests and what works well. And we're staying active part of those conversations and trying to be responsive to those trends, but none of them include getting rid of grades yet. Other questions? I realize where I'm standing, literally and figuratively, between you and food and drink. Yes, Bella, our wonderful student trustee.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to say welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Body, and it's so great to see and hear about all the things you're doing, and I'm really excited to come back to the school and see the student center and the new curriculum and all the great things. That's part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bella. And of course, this is why I love this place so much. Thank you. All right, I'm going to call it. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I really, really deeply appreciate it. This has been really, really meaningful to me. I'm so happy and excited to be part of this community. And I'm also so happy and excited to welcome you to the East Foyer, where you will find food and drink. And I look forward to seeing you there.